What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts apps. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the nerd. Alright guys, it's time for the movie experience here. And I got a movie that I'm really excited to talk to you about that was really kind of low on everybody's radar, but I was still excited to see it. And maybe because it was just a DC property, maybe because it was a superhero property, or maybe because it was a Latino superhero. So I'm just, all the things building up for me, I was kind of excited about the movie, but I was mad it was getting no buzz. And that movie is Blue Beetle. Okay? Blue Beetle was a movie, obviously, with the failed box office DC projects that we had this year with Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, which I still enjoyed, and The Flash, which I really enjoyed. I actually thought DC was having a decent enough year, but when it comes to the box office and not the success that's been going on, I felt as though that, hey, everybody's like, DC's gone, and what's going on, and with the announcement of what's going on with James Gunn's DC, it's kind of like just do everything at the water. So with the last two movies coming out with Blue Beetle and Aquaman, nobody even really cared. It wasn't on nobody's radar anymore. They weren't even promoting the movie. Not like they were Spider-Verse, not like they were Barbie, because it was Warner Brothers spent all their money on Barbie, everything. Now there was nothing to go to Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle even got character posters. Okay, this is how much that they just did not care about Blue Beetle at all. So they automatically said this thing is going to bomb. Nobody's going to pay for it. The projection was $12 million in opening weekend. Well, I said, well, I'm going to be one. My dollar's going to be part of that $12 million because I'm going to go see Jaime Reyes. So what they right now, when it comes to the synopsis on the IMDb page, it goes like this. An alien scarab chooses college graduate Jaime Reyes to be a symbiotic host, bestowed the teenager with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero known as Blue Beetle. So that is what it is on the IMDb page. But so we are going by Jaime Reyes. Only my familiarity with Jaime Reyes is Young Justice, seeing him in there, and of course seeing him in Injustice 2. That's my new iteration of Blue Beetle. I know about the Take-Core Blue Beetle, the original Blue Beetle like that, but I wasn't really big into the Blue Beetle lore and stuff like that. But I have to tell y'all something. Right now. I hella enjoyed Blue Beetle. I really did. I'm telling y'all right now, because if the movie sucked, I'm going to say the movie sucked, but if the movie is good to me personally, I'm going to say why the movie is good. And I can understand if people don't like the movie. Let me put that out there right now. I can understand people don't like the movie. But right now, when it came to DC, I enjoy Shazam 2. And yes, is there a little bias with Shazam? Of course there is. I actually enjoyed The Flash. Ezra Miller's an asshole. And I can't support him in something, what's been going on. But I'm trying to look at it as a movie. I did enjoy The Flash. It underwhelmed in certain things, and there's some things that were a problem with it. But I enjoyed The Flash. And when it came to Blue Beetle, I really enjoyed Blue Beetle. In my personal opinion, that I think it's the best DC movie this year. Out of the 3 DC movies that came out so far, in my personal opinion, I think it's the best DC movie this year. And I know there's going to be people that's not going to agree with me about that one. They're probably going to go with The Flash and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, and I'm not saying that those movies are terrible, and if they are terrible to you, that's fine. But right now, this has been the best DC movie right now. So I'm gonna give y'all some of the good that I enjoy, the bad that I enjoy, and maybe later in the podcast I'll talk more about the spoilers, stuff like that, and give it my rating of what I think. So starting off with the good real quick is Silo Mandonia. I know I butchered his name, and I do apologize about that, but he is a standard in this movie. At first, he was just known from Cobra Kai, but now him getting the lead role and leading this movie and bringing the heart to this movie, I thought it was phenomenal. I think he did a phenomenal job at what he was doing. He was convincing at what he did. He had great chemistry with the characters that was all on screen, and he's leading the movie. This is his movie, and I was like, I don't know if he'll be able to lead the movie, but he is leading the movie, and that is one thing I really enjoyed from him as well. Him as Blue Beetle and him as Jaime Reyes outside of the suit as well. I do believe that the stuff that was outside the suit worked a little bit better than the stuff inside the suit, honestly, because there were some things that they was trying to go for, but I will save that for spoilers, stuff like that. But I think he did a phenomenal job, along with the one that shocked me about this movie is the family dynamic. We see superhero movies with family dynamic before. We see Shazam, for Christ's sake. But I'm talking about how much the family is involved in this, because this is also starring my man George Lopez. And here's the thing. When I see George Lopez, I said, okay, he's a name for a selling point, but he's not going to be in the movie that much. Wrong, and wrong again. George Lopez is in this movie a great amount of time. He's actually, it almost feels like he's his either Lucius Fox or his Alfred to Jaime Reyes. That's his uncle right there. And I was like, man, I really feel that he's funny. Because George Lopez is a seasoned comic anyway, so him being funny is not really too much surprising, but the timing of it, because there's a lot of things that can be a lot cheesy and things like that, but George Lopez really delivers in this movie, along with all the other family members from his father, his mother. I really enjoy his sister and his nana. They all have great parts in the movie, and they all play their role well. And it wasn't, I didn't forget about these characters. I didn't, dislike these characters or anything like that. I actually fell in love with these characters, and that's very hard to pull off in a superhero movie of this kind of caliber. So I was really excited when I seen all this kind of stuff. So that made me happy. I know the action was great as well. When we seen the Flash, I felt as though there were moments, I was like, the CGI is not good. It's just not good. Now, what throws me off is that the Flash had a bigger budget. Blue Beetle did not, but how does the CGI Blue Beetle look better than it does in the Flash? Somebody explain that to me. Because they did a mixture of CGI, and they also went with a practical look also, because Xylo is wearing a practical suit. So you can tell it's a rubber suit, right? I know it's supposed to be like, metallic and metal and things when people are shooting at him and the bullets bounce off. But that's when he's in full Blue Beetle, but he has his mask down, you can tell it's a rubber suit. But you know what? I felt as though going with the practical way actually just felt good. I know we're used to CGI now. We're used to all these suits having CGI and doing all these things. That's what we're accustomed to. But even back in the day, I was like, I like the more practical feel. You could just do a little bit more with that, And so when it came to CGI and the action, I thought it was really really well done. The one thing I was not expecting about Blue Beetle was how dark it gets. It gets dark at some points, and I'm just like, man, am I tearing up right now? That's how I felt. I was like, this thing is really hitting heartstrings. It's really talking about things that we can relate to, and I was like, man, I feel it, because Blue Beetle, they're in Palmer City, which is kind of like Miami in a way of for DC Comics and things like that, and you can tell it's unapologetically Latino movie, and that's one thing I like about it. I like when we have these different movies that has marginalized groups and sit there and get to express their story, stuff like that. Crazy Rich Asians was a hilarious movie. I loved it, and I still want to see Joyride as well. And I was like, I love those kind of movies. It was like, okay, we got a group that we're going to sit there and explain, and show off our culture and our things like that. And this is what this movie brought, okay? Because Angel Manuel Soto is the one who directed this movie. He's a Puerto Rican director, and he is unapologetic in this movie. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It brings a lot of the Latino culture. It almost felt like Coco in a way. It really did. I embraced all that. I really enjoyed that, stuff like that. A lot of other things. A lot of the movie has similarities to Iron Man 1, and I was like, I can feel it when it comes to what's going on with this company, what they're trying to do with it, and what they're not trying to do with it. I was like, okay, I'm feeling what's going on here, and I was like, it feels a little bit like Iron Man, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing that it feels like that, but I'm just saying, like, okay, it does feel like that. So I kind of enjoy that element, because Iron Man, the first one, is one of my favorite superhero movies so that I ever saw. So I appreciate that kind of that callback to Iron Man. Susan Sarandon is in this movie, and she plays the antagonist, Victoria Cord, who is Ted Cord's sister, and now she is running this manufacturing where it's like they're trying to basically make these new suits for police officers and army to make the world safer, and that's basically what kind of stems off of what the Blue Beetle type of thing is. And she's a villain. She's a villain. She has times where it can make you hate her, and I like that about the villain. It's like when you make her hate her, and then when she just like you keep pulling off the layers and stuff like that. That's the kind of villain I was like, okay, I need to see her get hers in the end, and she has that kind of quality when it comes to the movie. So those things all bring true together, but every movie's not perfect. And when it comes to some of the things I did not like about the movie, I'm going to talk about their secondary villain that they have in the movie as well. And the secondary villain that they have is the character Olmec. Olmec is from DC Comics. I'm not too familiar with him, but I know he's in the comics, and this is a loosely based version of him. And I personally didn't care for it, and I thought his suit kind of looked kind of what is it? I don't want to say full Gundam in a way, but I was like, I'm not really feeling his suit. You know, it just kind of takes me out of it. He had an interesting story if we let it build up and things like that, but when he put the suit on, it's kind of like when, remember with Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2, you know, he had the whiplash chair. I was like, okay, I can get behind that, but then he put on that stupid big ass suit in the beginning, and had the little helmet off at the end. I was like, this just looks stupid to me. That's what it was to me. You're going to get your cheesy superhero stuff in this movie. Is it cheesy at some points? Yes. Maybe cringe to some. I mean, it wasn't cringe to me, but I'm saying, but like cheesy, yeah. Does it go? It's like, is it reinventing the wheel when it comes to superhero movies? It's not. Honestly, you know, timing could probably hurt this movie, to be honest with you, especially, you know, what's going on with DC right now. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people are looking for something new, especially when we keep seeing something like this over and over again. But still, it does focus on heart, family. It touches on your heartstrings and stuff like that a lot more than average superhero movies would necessarily do. That's why I enjoy it. I think it was a great entry to the DCU. I know James Gunn was saying that this is supposed to be the start of the DCU. I don't know what's going to happen. I know this is not probably going to make a lot of money at the box office, because it wasn't a promotion. The strike is still happening, so it's hard for the actors to promote the movie. People tell people to get out there to see the movie. There's no promotion going on at no fast food spots. I mean, I see promotion for every other movie, from Barbie to Ninja Turtles to hell, even Oppenheimer. You know what I'm saying? But none for Blue Beetle at no Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, nothing. And I'm just like, okay, well, it's not gonna get the good word of mouth, and that's very unfortunate, because I really felt as though that this was a really solid movie. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I think it was the best DC movie this year. I know there's going to be a lot of arguing with that, but when it comes to Blue Beetle, I'm going to cop a physical copy of this, which translates to a B. We are still trying to figure out how B rating on this show right here, so like that. But I really enjoy it. Later on in the podcast, I'll probably give you guys some more spoilers about Blue Beetle. But as of right now, for non-spoiler, I really enjoyed it. I think you recommend you guys go out there and see it. It's a really good time. It's a really good family movie. It does get dark at times, but sometimes you just gotta just enjoy it for what it is, you know. And if people hate it and think it's the worst thing ever, I mean, okay, they have that right to feel that way. So that, but me personally, I'm sorry, but to me, it's one of the best DC movies this year. Okay, so you guys keep on watching as you're gonna keep on going on with the podcast and things like that. But once again, that was my movie experience for Blue Beetle. Good watch. You should go see it.